checking the lead stories in the Times on his phone, turning the TV on and off, picking up books and leaving them in unlikely places.
I should have read it long ago.
You won't like it, I said.
All these years I've never read it. I ought to read it.
His voice became higher. Griff's persuasive voice, his friendly principal who nonetheless stands for no-nonsense voice, went up and down, up and down.
Come on, Ollie. I'll give it back on Friday.
I was leaving for 2 days, going to a conference in Boston. I earn my living as an editor at a small press near New Haven, where we live, that specializes in books about handicrafts. But years ago, I wrote a biography of Edith Wharton. Since then, my work, not always paid, has included the writing of essays and 2 obscurely published books, also about writers. The conference was on Edith Wharton. I was going to moderate a panel.
This way, he said. When you write the essay, I'll know what you're talking about.
You'll tell me why I'm wrong? It's not due for months, and it won't be out for a year. Bright Morning of Pain would bring up questions we didn't need to revisit, certainly not as I started thinking and writing about the book. Also, Griff would hate it. He'd claim he had wasted his time, and then tell me I was wasting my time, and why, and once his ideas penetrated my thoughts, I'd be unable to think at all.
I won't care in a year, he said. I care now.
I don't believe you. I put on my pants.
I know, he said. It's inconsistent.
My train was imminent. Apparently, Griff had forgotten his desperate need for a novel while we ate breakfast, but had recalled it on his way out. Then, being himself, he couldn't wait. He's a fast reader, but 2 days for a whole book, given everything else he was doing, seemed unlikely. However, I wouldn't be thinking about the book or my essay while I was away, and probably not for weeks after that. Now that he'd gotten the desire into his head, maybe it would be preferable to hear Griff's inevitably idiosyncratic opinion and explosive personal reaction soon, and try to forget it by the time I started writing. He'd nag until I gave it to him. Also, borrowing the book, asking to borrow it, was for Griff an act of love. I associated impetuosity with the good times in our marriage. When life was bad, or even just adequate, most often life was just adequate, his gestures in my direction were self-conscious, and he rarely inquired about my concerns. During the time we'd lived apart, we each had a couple of embarrassing affairs, but mostly during those years we both replaced spouse with work. Our daughters were young, and we alternated weeks with them. The weeks I had neither husband nor children to distract me, I lived in a writing blur. I'd come home from my job and write all evening, drinking wine and snacking on crackers and cheese, finally stopping late to eat oatmeal or soup. Griff was a high school history teacher then, and he could always find more papers to grade, projects to invent, extracurricular activities to supervise. After he moved back home, it was simplest for either of us, when the other was difficult, to separate in the same house by working. Forgetting to mention the book before my shower was more characteristic of Griff than waking at night to think of it or bursting into the bedroom to request it. But those unpredictable moments, his wide-awake face turned in my direction, were something to hold on to. However hard I worked when Griff and I were at odds, I did better work, smarter work, when we were getting along, when his wit and good mind made the rooms I passed through quiver with energy and with the surprise that comes when someone else's unexpected thoughts intersect with your own. Griff would read the book. He'd be upset, even angry. But maybe it was finally time. Maybe, once Griff read it and we lived through that, life in this house would be friendlier for it. Griff usually reads books about history, religion, education, and race, rarely fiction. He is a passionate thinker who needs books, but not works of the imagination. Griff is the son and grandson of clergymen, the successive pastors of one of the oldest and most dignified black churches in New Haven, men who looked and sounded